Hey there, Team V. I hope you're enjoying learning about space as much as I am. Today, we are going to learn a little bit more about our favorite planet, Earth. It's where we live, so we're going to pay a little bit more attention to it than the other planets. So this is a book called Earth by Mary Jane Wilkins. I hope that you learned something more than you knew before. Let's take a look. What makes Earth special? Earth is the only place in the solar system where there are living things. Plants, animals, and people need air, water, and warmth. Earth has all of these. That's what makes it special. Wow! Scientists think there are more than 8 million different types of living things on Earth. All around Earth is a thick layer of gases. It is called the atmosphere. It helps to stop Earth getting too hot or too cold. There is a gas called oxygen in the atmosphere. This is the gas animals and people need to breathe. Let's breathe in some oxygen now. That felt good. Earth in the solar system. Do you remember how to remember all the names of the planets in the solar system? My very excited mother just served us nachos. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Let's take a closer look. Earth is a planet that travels around or orbits the sun. The sun is a star. It is a huge shining ball that sends out the heat and light we call sunshine. Without the sun, Earth would be a dark and cold place. Comets fly around in space too. These lumps of rock and ice look like giant snowballs. Wouldn't that be cool to see? 7 other planets orbit the sun. They are Mercury, Venus, and there's our Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Dwarf planets go around the sun. 2. Pluto is a dwarf planet. The sun, the planets, and other space objects make up the solar system. So some of you may have heard about Pluto before, and we used to include it in our solar system. But now they've decided that Pluto is called a dwarf planet, a smaller planet. And there's a few other ones they've discovered recently too. So we don't include it in our 8 planets that orbit the sun anymore. Watery planet. Most of Earth is covered with water. There is water in the oceans, lakes, and rivers. There is frozen water too. In very cold places, such as the North and South Poles, water is frozen as ice. Earth is sometimes called the blue planet. All the water makes it look blue from space. All living things need water. Plants need water to grow. People and animals need water to live too. Scientists have found ice on other planets. That's so exciting. But it seems only Earth has the liquid water living things need. So that's an important difference, that our water turns to liquid. But on the other planets where they found ice, it's way too cold for the water to ever turn into liquid. What's inside Earth? Earth is a rocky planet. It has layers, that's things on top of each other. The center is hot metal. Wow. The outer layers are rock, like mountains, right? The surface is called the crust. The crust is always moving, very slowly. It is cracked like a broken eggshell. And that's what gives us our earthquakes. The hot metal ball in Earth's center is called the core. Around it is liquid metal, then layers of rock. Let's take a look at this picture here. It looks almost like Earth is cut, like a piece of pie is taken out of it. So let's take a look. So here in the center, it's pointing to the metal ball, it says, and that's red. And the metal ball is red because it's hot. And then we have liquid metal. Then we have the soft, hot rock. And then the rocky crust, which is what we live on. When pieces of crust rub against each other, they cause earthquakes. There are mountains called volcanoes. In some of these places, when a volcano erupts, hot rocks and a liquid called magma shoots out. It's like a portal to the center of the earth. Day and night. The sun rises and sets because the earth spins around like a top. So remember, we've talked about the difference between revolving around something and rotating. When you're rotating, you're spinning on an axis. Like imagine a pole stuck through your head and then you just spin around, like twirling. And revolving means there's an object near you and you're going around it, or orbiting. That's another word for it. The sun rises and sets because Earth spins around like a top. When the part of Earth you live on faces the sun, it is day. When the part of Earth faces away from the sun, it is night. The Earth takes 24 hours or 1 day to spin all the way around once. And that, my friends, is why a day is 24 hours long. When there are no clouds in the sky, we see the sun during the day. It goes away at night. We can watch the sun rise at the start of the day. At night, we see it disappear at sunset. Summer and winter. So we just talked about day and night. And the reason why we have day and night is because we rotate, we spin, Earth spins. The reason we have summer and winter is because we revolve or orbit the sun. The Earth moves around or orbits the sun. As it moves, Earth tilts or leans over. The part that tilts toward the sun is warmer. Earth takes just over 365 days, that's 1 year, to go around the sun once. And that is why there are 365 days in a year. The part of Earth that tilts toward the sun has summer. The sun rises early in the morning and sets late in the day. That means the days are longer in summer. 6 months later, this part of Earth tilts away from the sun. Then it's winter there. The sun rises later and sets earlier. So that is why we have summer and winter. So interesting. Earth's weather. The weather on Earth changes from day to day. It can be sunny, cloudy, windy, or rainy. It can be hot or cold. Sometimes it snows. There can be thunder and lightning during a rainstorm. The weather is hottest near the equator, and it is coldest at the north and south poles. So if you don't know what the equator is, take a look here at our book. Do you see the picture of Earth and the red dotted line that is right through the center? Yeah, that line is called the equator. It's an imaginary line. It's not really there. Think of it as the line that just chops Earth right down the middle. And that is where it is hottest. And the North Pole is at the top, and the South Pole is at the bottom. It's cold in both those poles. Sometimes people get confused about that, but it's cold in the Arctic and the Antarctic. Very good. The weather changes from place to place too. Places near the equator, remember that's the middle line, are hottest because they get the most sunshine throughout the year. Air moves around the Earth all the time, making wind and changing the weather. Exploring space. People on Earth want to know more about space, just like you. In ancient times, people looked up at the stars. Now, scientists send rockets into space. Space probes visit other planets. They send back information and photos to Earth. Here's a picture of the Cassini space probe is finding out about the planet Saturn. The Cassini space probe is finding out about the planet Saturn. Wow, that's so cool. Saturn is not nearby, so it might take a while. Here we have a picture of Hubble Space Telescope. Look at that. It almost looks like it's covered in tinfoil, doesn't it? In 1990, that's before you were born, scientists sent a huge telescope into space. I remember when that happened. It travels around Earth at 16,000 miles per hour. Here in Canada, that's the same as 26,000 kilometers per hour. Whoa! The telescope takes photos of stars and planets. It sends them back to Earth, and that is why we see such cool pictures of what's out there. Space explorers. Cool. Have you ever thought of becoming an astronaut? It takes a lot of work, and you really have to study hard. But some people do it, like this person right here. Let's take a look at the space explorers. A space explorer is called an astronaut. People went into space for the first time in 1961. Whoa, that's a long time ago for you. Again, you weren't born yet, and neither was I. In 1969, the first people landed on the moon. Isn't that crazy? Since 2000, astronauts have lived in space on a space station. Whoa, 2,000 astronauts. So that means there are lots of astronauts, which means you could be one too, if you like. Astronauts wear spacesuits when they step into space. Let's look at that spacesuit. Cool. It has so much stuff on it to protect the astronaut and make sure that they're getting the right oxygen. Amazing. The International Space Station floats 230 miles or 370 kilometers above Earth. Geez Louise, that's a long way away. It is called the International Space Station. Astronauts stay there for about 6 months at a time. That's half a year. They come from different countries. They do experiments while they are on the space station. Isn't that cool that all the different countries are working together in the International Space Station? Wow, we all are one. I'm so glad you joined me here to learn a little bit more about Earth and astronauts and day and night and winter and summer. Oh my goodness, space is so important. So let's end with our handshake. Up, down, wiggle, wiggle, pop. Love you guys. Bye, friends.